Welcome to the Patricia Joe Grover Show, where we turn believers into achievers. And today, my guest is Melody Johnson. Let me tell you a little bit about Melody. She actually, her topic is from failure to freedom, how to turn failures into success. And this is a fantastic topic. As a former reading and behavioral specialist, loving literacy eliminates frustration for parents and boosts the self-confidence and focus in struggling readers from kindergarten to grade 2. So thank you for being with me today, Melody.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for having me on your show. I greatly appreciate it.
You know, I connected with you because I have two grandsons that have some struggles with school, and one is now 8 years old, and he's in third grade, and the other is 7 years old, and he just went into first grade. So because of difficulties, and so yeah, it's very, very important. And what I've said for a long, long time is the most important thing we can do for our children is to teach them to read. Some have more struggles than others. So for what you do with kids, because it is so important. Because if we can teach them to read, they can do anything. They just need to have that focus and be able to go from there. So fantastic. So what can you tell me what loving literacy is all about?
Sure. So, Loving Literacy is a company that I put together that actually takes reading strategies and turns them into fun and engaging activities for children. And the purpose of me creating these fun and engaging activities is because a lot of times kids think, or parents may think that you just have to sit down, you have to open the book, a traditional book, and just read. And nowadays kids are so integrated with digital technology, they have devices. So there's lots of different ways to engage a child in reading, but we want to make sure that they're enjoying the process at the same time. So that's what our company does.
Fantastic. That's exciting. And a lot of people right now not knowing if school's going to be able to stay in session all over the country, and if people are going to have to do some kind of homeschooling situation or whatever the case may be. So people are needing to hear what you have to say and about your company. So
Thank
yeah, so why did you start the company?
So it actually starts from last year. My daughter, she has some health challenges. She actually has epilepsy. And so, with having epilepsy, I started to grow in the educational business. I was actually started off as a preschool teacher. Then I went from preschool to a fifth grade special ed teacher.
Wow,
Then from
that's a big
fifth
jump.
That is a big jump. Isn't that funny? Then from fifth grade special ed teacher, I went down to kindergarten. I stayed there for a few years, and that's my sweet spot. If you ever get to work with kindergartens, oh, they're amazing. I mean, every grade is
Yeah.
good, but with kindergartners, they really like want to explore and they just want to love. That's
Right.
pretty much what grade is about.
Yeah.
And then I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to be moved up to first grade as a team leader. And during that time, as I was growing and learning about this new grade, I was starting to go through some changes, some difficulties with my daughter, and it just seemed as if I had to make a choice. Like I was trying to balance both family life and balance school. And for those of you that are a public school teacher or a teacher of any kind, you understand that a lot of your personal time is always sacrificed. Personal time with your family and time with your friends, all of those things are sacrificed. I decided that I had to make a choice. And the choice was I believed that I needed to be there for my family. I went through a family album and realized for 3, 4 years I couldn't find myself. And I asked my family, where was I? Like where am I in the pictures? Am I the one taking the picture? I was not even the one taking the picture. It would always be that I was doing some sort of activity for the school, or I was catching up on work, or I was doing lesson plans. And I had dedicated myself so much to that craft and realized how busy I was. I didn't realize how busy I was, and I wasn't embracing my true
Right.
values. And one of them was I got into it so I could be with my family. And so I'd reached the age of, coming up on being 41, and I decided, you know what, I need to take a step back and I need to be with my family. But at the same time, I still wanted to teach, but I wanted to teach on my own terms and still be able to balance my own life out. So after I discovered this, I immediately quit my job the next day. I had no backup, Patty.
Right. There you go.
I'm
But it
talking
was,
about I had no business set up, nothing. I just knew that I needed to do something different and I had to do it soon. And sometimes in order to get comfortable, you have to get uncomfortable.
yes.
And you have to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you take a leap like that, just you have to be okay with being with that discomfort so you can grow. And then I sat down, I started thinking.
Yeah, you do have to think.
Yeah. And I thought about the parents that were reaching out to me. I still had, and they were saying, Melody, I don't know what to do with my child. You know, now 2 weeks after I quit, that's when COVID hit and all the schools were shut down.
Wow.
So
Right.
that was when I realized I needed to help some of my parents. And so I gave them resources and stuff. And some of them were asking me, you know, are you tutoring? And I started thinking, no, I haven't even thought about that. So I started putting out videos on YouTube. I got my own channel set up. I started doing consultations with people and just trying to help, especially parents with special needs children, like if they have dyslexia. And I realized that a lot of these people showed lots of different needs. Many of them needed tutors. Many of them needed instructional reading, but it was either too expensive for them or they couldn't find a suitable tutor.
Right.
Because maybe the tutor lived too far away. So I decided to do everything virtual. And then people started to come to me.
Yeah.
And I started being able to give them the strategies that they needed for their child to grow. And that's how Loving Literacy was born.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And again, mother nature is the, that's where the necessity of invention is, when we have that need, that's where it comes from. You know, that's a creation right there. That's that spot. It was the need you needed to come up with something to replace the job that you knew was no longer effective for you. And then COVID coming along kind of helped that along because, the real need. So that's fantastic. And talking about needs, all these kids that you're talking about, every one of them has a special need. Education, I believe, should be across the board the same for no matter where you are in the country, no matter what financial background people have. Education, they should still have the same access to that education, but their needs of how they get that excuse me, are different.
Yes.
And that's something you focus on.
If they're like, say for example, they have a learning disability, that's something that we work with. And since I specialize in that area, I can like almost see things immediately of, oh, I know how to support this child. So that's one of the things that we do. We give like the personalized lesson plans for each child. I don't know who does this, but that's what I do. And we go ahead and not only give them that personalized lesson, but then we also create the work for them that's fun and engaging, that connects those the needs that they have with the skills that we need in order for them to excel.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. So kudos, and I applaud you for that because there is such a need. There is a need.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So what challenge did you overcome that helped you to run the business you have today? Was that something that you mentioned before with stuff with your daughter, or was there something else too?
It was a little bit of both. So I didn't think that, well, first it was confidence. Like I knew I had the ability to do it, but I didn't know how. And so that's where the struggle was. And I didn't realize the one key, and guys, if you get anything from this, get this, you have to form good relationships with other people. And when you form those positive relationships with other people, it's almost like they plant a seed in you and then things start to grow.
Exactly.
So do those thoughts and so do those dreams. Because then based off of the things they're telling you, you're learning. And hopefully you apply.
And that's the thing, Melanie. You know that we can be given all kinds of information. People want to try to help, but until we do the work that it takes to get there ourselves, because that's part of the learning process, just
Yeah.
like what we try to do with kids. So the whole thing is you have to do the work and you have to do those steps. And that's where so many people fall through the cracks with anything that they're trying to do, is not taking those steps. And sometimes I say you have to slow down to speed up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Like if you can just take a minute, step back and think about what are the things that I need to do? What are the things I'm great at? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Because those are important things to look at too. Sometimes people don't want to look at the weaknesses because it's it's now accountability.
Right.
Let's just be straight. You're
Right.
looking at the weakness, you're like, oh, I know I'm not great in this
Yeah.
area, but it's actually a great thing to look at because
Yep.
then those things that you're weak at, you can think, do I know someone that has a strength in that area? Can I
Exactly.
delegate? Do I really need to do this one task? You start to really think about, you know what, use your time like currency. That's one of the
So
best things.
right, exactly. So many of the things that you're saying are what I teach my clients is, all of these things. We have to have a budget. We have to have a budget of our time, of our money, and of our energy. And when you say about figure out what you need to delegate,
Mm-hmm.
figure out where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, your threats and your opportunities. I the SWOT, and I do that with people, because the fact is, to be able to move forward, I can't get people from point A to point B unless they know where they're starting from. So if I called you up and say, hey Melody, how do I come visit you, how do I get to your house, if you don't know where you're at, you can't give me directions to get where you are. So
Exactly.
and that's the same thing. So fantastic.
And it might be also people are looking to start their own business, and they, like you were saying, Patty, using your courses to help guide them
Yes,
will actually help them.
exactly.
And one of the things that I'm doing actually is on the side, I'm actually creating something for women if they want to start their own tutoring business. So that's something that people can reach out to me and contact during those consultations as well.
Oh, definitely
Mhm.
get a hold of Melody for that. Yes, and it is right now. A lot of people may be having to, pick up and start a new job or a side hustle because they need that extra income. Yeah,
Yes.
and what other way to do it than right now, if to be able to do virtually, so, and the kids are going to need it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And, especially now because think about this, the schools were shut down back in February.
Mm-hmm.
And think about from February, March, April, May. So they were shut down for 4 months. They had the summer, right? Now they're
Yeah.
back and they're virtual learning again. Let's add in, let's say September, October, right? Now we've got 8 months
Yes.
where they haven't been
Their
physically.
brains haven't been engaged.
Exactly. And so you have parents that are having their children at home and they're like, okay, I think I can find a worksheet for you. That worksheet may not align to their skill level.
Right.
That worksheet either may be too easy or too hard.
Right.
And then that totally turns kids off. They don't want anything to do with the worksheet or anything to do with that work because it's too hard. 8 months is a long time to be out from school.
Right.
So if they're going to be out longer, we might as well make use of that time and give them things that they can adapt to. And that's exactly what Loving Literacy does. We conduct the live courses, live classes for kids. So all the parents have to do is just turn on a button on a computer, and boom, we teach the class. The parents don't have to do anything. We make it that easy.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. So, what would your advice be on the offering new entrepreneurs who want to start a business? What would your advice be on that? Is that what you were talking about with maybe starting their own?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you want to start a business, you got to write down the 5 strengths that you have. And based off of those 5 strengths that you have, narrow it down to 2. When you narrow it down to 2, list all the things, a sub list under those 2 things. sublist all the things. The things that have the most will be the one that you will pick.
Yes. Yes.
And start with that one thing. Please don't do like five things because you're never going to get anywhere. But you've got to,
Right.
and the greats will tell you this. You pick the one thing you're good at and you focus on that one thing. And I think that's a lot of people have nowadays with accomplishing any kind of goal. I was at that one point too. You have an amazing imagination, you have all these amazing ideas, and you want to do them all. But realistically, you can only do one thing at
Yes.
a time. You can only do one thing at a time. There's nothing wrong with writing it down and then revisit it later once you're finished that one goal and move on to the next thing. But you can't do them all. Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
yes.
And Melody, what I teach people is when you're talking goals, because I'm the goal achievement strategist, is actually, like you said, you got to write them down, but you also, then you have to prioritize, and I tell people, I teach A, B, C, D, and E. So absolutely have to do, gotta do, you do it. Then, so that's your A, B, C. Your D is delegate, and your E is eliminate. And then you add your one, two, threes to each of those things in the order of the steps that have to happen in between. But
Okay.
never put any more than 3 things on your plate for goals that you're going to want to achieve. And if you have 3, they all have to get you to
Yes.
the same result that you want. Don't have something be this and this on the other and totally different. They have to work together and complement each other to be able to get you where you want to be.
Yeah.
So and that's what it's all about. So I totally agree with what you're telling people, and what you're teaching too is the fact that, because it causes self-sabotage. It really
It
does.
does. I have a great friend, bless her. She was telling me that she got invitations to like 10, it was 10 Zoom calls, and they were all like different coaches, business coaches, because now everybody is like coming out and giving free content. And she's like, yeah, I got like 10 Zoom calls today. And I'm like, well, when are you going to go to all these Zoom calls? And she's like, oh, it's today. And I'm like, but if they're overlapping, you're
Right.
not going to get the information you need. I said, honey, you just need to pick one. So you can't go to all these Zoom calls. Just pick one and commit to that
Right.
one thing. Like
Right.
if you go to 10 different Zoom calls, you're getting all of this information, but you're going to go on overload. And you're going to, one, that's how you get burned out. Like
Yes.
if you're starting your own business. But then the second thing is, are you really learning? Are
Right.
you just there taking stuff in? But
Right.
you're not.
Then if you're right, if you have all that stuff, and then when are you going to follow up on it? Because fortune's
Yeah,
in the follow up. And
exactly.
with anything, no matter what you're doing, if you want to absorb and be able to learn from it or get anything from it, if you're learning from it, you have to take it in, but you have to put it into action. And that's the thing, is people if they get all this stuff and then they don't put it into action, and that's all sitting there, and then they get down on themselves because they're not doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so fantastic. It's so great to have you being able to and sharing the same messages that I am with that, because we really want to come from a place of service.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. And again, I applaud you for what you're doing with the children, but also it's not always just the kids. You're helping parents to be able to be more supportive and for their own children, and that's fantastic.
Thank you. I know during this time also, it's really hard to get in contact with teachers.
Right.
Teachers are on overload right now. I've been talking to a lot of my friends. A lot of them are quitting the profession early
Oh,
because it's just too much for them to handle.
right.
Some of them are teaching virtual and teaching in person.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are telling me they're working through breaks. They don't have a break. They
Yes.
come in at 6:30 or earlier. Like when I was working, I was getting to my job at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I wouldn't leave sometimes till 6:30, 7 o'clock at night.
Because you had such a passion for teaching and for providing these young children
Yeah.
with that. Yes.
So that's one of the things that I've noticed, like with the educators. So it's hard for the parents to get that feedback, quick feedback. And you know as well as I do, timing is important. especially with kids when you have them upset about something, they're like, I don't want to learn this, and you can't get in contact with the teacher. Then you're just like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. But then that turns into like weeks, and then
Exactly.
months, and that is where the problem comes.
Right. And right now with kids, I mean, I have one grandchild who is going to school 5 days a week, and that's happening so far. But then I have another one, they go to physical school 2 days a week, and the rest of it is, you know, on Zoom and stuff. And that's not going so well either, because there's not that consistency and everything. And like you said, the teachers are being, they're having to do that, but then some of them are having to go and have separate meetings with the individual kids because of needs and everything too. So
Yeah,
and then I personally know other people who are teachers, and like what you said, they are so overwhelmed with all the stuff that they're doing and not getting the chance to have the breaks that they should physically in the school system, because they're cut down how many people are actually in the building and the facilities and all that stuff. So my I my heart goes out, and I applaud the people that have that passion
yeah,
to be able to do this for children. um, but right now, again, thoughts and prayers are out there for everyone dealing with this, that have that, connection to the
exactly.
children.
So that's that one of the reasons why I created this company, so that way parents have the ability to reach out to someone that's available
Right.
to help them quickly and immediately with whatever problem that they're having. And then it just boosts the self-esteem of the child itself, because
And what a
if you
difference! What a difference that makes, doesn't it?
yes, they will be more willing and open to learn. And so what we've done is with our YouTube channel, like we put our tips out there for free for the all parents to access. And then every Wednesday we do an open Q&A on our website. So
Oh,
if parents are having questions or concerns about something, hey, they can jump on, ask me a question on live, and I can answer it for them. That's free consultation.
oh, so fantastic! Everybody, did you hear that? So leave, get a hold of Melody. And so, what do you have? Do you have anything special for a special gift for our folks today?
Yes. So valued at $3.99. I actually have a 30-minute consultation link that I'm going to give to you. And they can contact me through that link, book a date and a time, and then I can give them one-on-one consultation for their child and even give them free tips of things they
Oh,
can do at home.
bless you, because I think
Thank
it's a
you.
wonderful thing. I'm going to send my daughters to talk to you. Because again, right now, and we're in Maine, and I know you service people from all over the country. So it's
Yeah.
fantastic, and that need is there. So getting exposure for you for that, and helping as many children and families in the long run, it really helps all family members too,
Yeah.
having this in their home. Yes.
It's hard to be teacher and try to work virtually from home. I listen, I know, because now I'm like homeschooling one. And I told you when my daughter having special needs, so I
Yeah.
homeschool her, and then I have my boys. They are doing virtual learning,
Right.
and then I run my business. So I understand, like as a parent, like it's very tough to be able to try to go on Google if you have to jump onto a Zoom call in 2 minutes
Right.
because the child is crying about maybe not knowing something in their reading assignment,
Right.
or you'll see that they're not as engaged as you would like for them to be. So instead of searching the internet, just contact me. I
Yeah.
can give you the resources you need.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, thanks so much for being with me, Melody. If anyone wants to find out more about me, they can just go to patriciajogrover.com. And I have a course coming up that is all about I'm doing this course in conjunction with another woman. So I take and put people to action. We're putting people to action towards moving towards achieving their dreams and goals. She actually, the part that she brings in, this is Beverly Zyment, and what she brings into,
Oh,
yes, and what she brings into this is how our minds, how our subconscious stands in our way, and how
yeah,
to change the things, the thoughts that are in our minds, to help us to be able to let go of those things, replace them with the good thoughts, so that we can move forward. And what better time than now with everybody dealing with all this negativity around them? We got to have that total mind shift. So
Yeah.
and so the course is called the Mindset Shift, and it's putting all those pieces together. So taking out all the bad stuff, putting in the good stuff, and putting those pieces together to be able to move forward and create actionable steps to be able to achieve your dreams and goals. So the information is, I will share right now. I'll put up the link, and if you go there, you can find out. It's a 6-week course, so it breaks it down. We have what we're going to talk about each week, so it'll be there for everyone. So
That's nice.
yeah, so thanks for being with me, and
Thank you.
yeah, and for everybody, we'll see you next time. And here's my video for that you'll see more about the show.